It's the American dream, to go from rags to riches and end up as a leader in their industry. Yet not everyone is able to achieve that desire, after growing up with next to nothing to being one of the world's elite. However, there are some billionaires that have done just that, and today we're going to examine their incredible stories. We've selected some of the richest people in the world that once had a difficult upbringing before becoming a massive success. We have wealthy leaders such as Oprah Winfrey, Roman Abramovich, Shahid Khan, and more. So let's get started. Today, Howard Schultz is seen as the genius that turned Starbucks into an international powerhouse in the coffee industry. Yet growing up in New York City wasn't always so easy for young Schultz. He and his family were based in a subsidized housing complex for low-income people. His father was a truck driver that one day broke his leg and hip. However, he was uninsured, leaving the family struggling further. Thanks to a football scholarship, Schultz was able to attend Northern Michigan University to study communications. From there, he got a job at Xerox before moving to Hammerplast. It was here that his interest in black gold took off. He began to take notice of a coffee brand in Seattle called Starbucks. Later, he began working for them. However, after further coffee research in Italy, Schultz decided to open his own coffee shop after Starbucks passed on his idea. The shop was called Il Giornale. After its success, the owners of Starbucks decided to focus on other businesses. So Schultz purchased the Starbucks brand in 1987 for $3.8 million, nearly $9 million today. From there, the franchise would go on to become a caffeinated juggernaut with 32,660 stores across the globe. During 2019, Starbucks recorded their biggest revenue of $26.5 billion. At the time of writing, Schultz has an estimated net worth of $5.3 billion. Oprah Winfrey's childhood is both sad yet inspiring due to what she made from her difficult upbringing. Due to their sensitive nature, some of the details we won't be going into. During her early years, Winfrey was raised by her grandmother on her Mississippi farm while Winfrey's mother was away looking for work. Later on, Winfrey would move in with her mother in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Here, Winfrey was often neglected and suffered horribly. By 13, she ran away from home. Later, she would move in with her father in Tennessee. There, Winfrey received consistent structure for the first time in her life. While he was strict, he also encouraged his daughter. This led to her getting a full scholarship at Tennessee State University. At the same time, Winfrey began working at a local radio station. Before finishing her degree, Winfrey would become the first black female news anchor at a Nashville TV station. Eventually, she was invited to host a morning program on AM Chicago. Due to the massive popularity of her segment, it was rebranded as The Oprah Winfrey Show and was later shown across the U.S. The final episode aired in 2011. From there, Winfrey created her own TV channel and began creating programs with Apple Plus. At the time of writing, Winfrey has a net worth of $2.7 billion. Shahid Khan grew up in Lahore, Pakistan. By the time he reached 16, he decided to move to the U.S. with only $500 to his name. He moved in order to study engineering at the University of Illinois. Since the dorms weren't open yet, Khan had to stay at a local YMCA. They charged him $3 per night, a huge fee for the recent immigrant. Looking to offset that cost, Khan began washing dishes for $1.20 an hour. After graduation, he became an engineering manager at an automotive manufacturing company, Flexengate. Seeing ways to improve their process, Khan created his own company called Bumperworks. However, his former employers took him to court for stealing trade secrets. With money worries mounting, Khan hired the cheapest lawyer and essentially defended himself by studying in a library. Khan kept winning at the courts, yet Flexengate kept appealing. The company was losing $50,000 per month. As such, by 1980, Khan purchased Flexengate and turned their fortunes around. From there, sports became his interest. Khan purchased the NFL team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, in 2011 for an estimated $760 million. Then in 2013, he bought English football club Fulham from former Harrods owner Mohammed Al Fayed, the cost of which is reported to be around £200 million, or $283 million. In 2019, he and his son Tony also brought All Elite Wrestling to life. At the time of writing, Khan has a net worth of $8.1 billion. Billionaire investor George Soros grew up in Budapest, Hungary. Born as Jordy Schwartz, in order to keep his Jewish family safe, Soros' father, Tivadar, changed the family name in 1936. By 1944, the German forces had taken over Hungary. The family then had to assume fake Christian identities. During 1945, the family had to endure the 50-day-long Battle of Budapest. After becoming free from German occupation, by 1947 the family moved to London, England. Soros enrolled as a student at the London School of Economics. By 1956, Soros headed off to New York to begin working in finance. By 1970, he founded what would later be called the Quantum Fund. It would soon become one of the most successful hedge fund groups of all time. During 1992, Soros would be known as the man who broke the Bank of England. Soros shorted the British pound and made a reported profit of over $1 billion. On top of investing, Soros has also been very keen on philanthropy. Through his Open Society foundations, from 1984 to 2017, Soros had donated $32 billion of his own cash toward good causes. Even with that, at the time of writing, he still has an estimated net worth of $8.6 billion. When he was 4 years old, Roman Abramovich was an orphan. As a result, Abramovich was moved to the Komi Republic in northern Russia to be raised by his relatives. His family were originally from Lithuania, but relocated to Siberia during the first Soviet Union occupation. Eventually, Abramovich made it to Moscow. He left school at 16 and began doing a variety of jobs. He was briefly a mechanic before a short stint in the army. He then began selling plastic toys. Later on, he began getting involved with a number of industries, including pig farming and oil. After being arrested due to stealing government property, Abramovich, along with his friend Boris Berezovsky, bought a controlling stake in oil company Sibneft. According to reports, the company was valued at $600 million at the time, yet Abramovich and Berezovsky used their governmental contacts to purchase it for just $100 million. From there, Abramovich soon became a billionaire. By 2003, he became the owner of recent Champions League winners Chelsea Football Club by splashing out £140 million, around $199 million. In 2005, Abramovich's 73% ownership of Sibneft would be sold to state-owned company Gazprom for around $13 billion. At the time of writing, Abramovich has a net worth of $15.3 billion. Final fact finish: one person who went from riches to rags was Barbara Hutton, the heiress to the Woolworth Company. By 1933, she had an inheritance totaling around $50 million. Today, that would be a little over $1 billion. However, by the end of her life in 1979, she had only $3,500, around $12,900 today, left in her bank. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.